One-to-One Help is India's first EAP provider. What comes under the ambit of EAP, which is Employee Assistance Program, is largely access to qualified expert counselors for counseling should a person need it, access to certain resources, whether that's in the form of assessments to see how you're doing on certain things. And then from there, you can take counseling or you can just work on that on your own. My mother started this company with her co-founder at the time. They were both women in the early 2000s when there was a real sort of BPO boom happening. And they did want to get involved in sort of mental health. But there was a lot of stigma. Companies back then didn't really have budget for it. Often you'll hear when we talk about one-to-one help, we say emotional well-being and not even mental health, because even saying mental had a lot of stigma attached to it. Organizations only had budget for a workshop. And there was a lot of hesitancy to do counseling as well. That's why they sort of started the way that they did. And they did some online counseling because they found people still could reach out in an online manner without having to walk in and show that they are going for counseling. They started this company. They first started working, I think, with students. And then they sort of tried it out with organizations. And it was largely around stress workshops and managing stress before it became what it is today, which is a full-fledged, comprehensive solution for mental health needs for institutions. There was no budget for wellness, really. So I think HR leaders then had to either cull out budget from some other workshop or some other area to really invest in it. I think now there's at least some wellness budget. A lot of it will probably go towards physical health, not enough towards mental health, in my opinion. So that was one major challenge, is that companies didn't have budget or programs, etc. Two is also definitely awareness. I think people may not be aware when they're in need of help. And we still, to this day, often get mostly people who have high distress. We don't think of mental health as something that you should practice on proactively daily, like you would exercise to be in good health. So there's very little awareness on that. And we have to do multiple launches across multiple cohorts. And now we're in a position where we recognize that no one size will fit everyone. Even I personally may require a different intervention today than I did a year ago. I may be going through something totally different, right? Last year, it may have been a breakup. This year, it might be, I'm planning to have a baby. So I might need help for different kinds of help for different kinds of stages of my life. So yeah, I think those were some of the challenges that we had. And we do work with a lot of our partners in order to really do a lot of awareness building, because people may not necessarily need counseling regularly, but when they do, we should be top of mind. So we do a lot in offices, a lot of webinars, a lot of digital platform stuff in order to drive that awareness. One of the ways in which we've been measuring impact, of course, one is through feedback and ratings, etc., and in terms of how many lives we may have saved. But one thing that we've started looking at is how quickly is a person able to achieve their goals from repeated counseling sessions, because our way of operating is very solution focused. We want to help a person cope better with whatever challenges they're facing or level up if they're looking at growth. And so we have limited number of sessions in which we do that. And so the latest data in the last 6 months shows that 89% of the people who've come to us for multiple sessions have been doing significantly better, and 10% have achieved their goals. Just crossed a major milestone, and we've done over 1 million and I think 60,000 counseling sessions this year. We've dealt with a lot of high-risk cases and successfully addressed 13,000 high-risk cases. What I mean by high-risk is those cases where there was a high tendency towards self-harm or suicide. So those are some milestones, and I think daily, our counselors do get a lot of feedback on how people were helped by the counselor in facing with the issues that they are facing. And we still have a 97% sort of found our sessions helpful rating. That's something that we've maintained even though we've scaled, and now we work with over 750 companies and cover almost 10 million lives. So that's something that we've able to maintain. That's been really great. But yeah, I think we always get the odd message that really warms our heart. I think my mom was talking about a message that came in during Diwali, and it said, I'm here today because of one-to-one help, because I spoke to a counselor. And those stories happen really almost every day with our counselors. We have a great counseling team. So largely it's them who are driving the impact. So some of the trends I think that we're seeing is, of course, greater personalization. I think we're in a good position to do that because we've worked with so many people. But again, coming back to that point I was saying earlier, what I may need today is very different from what my colleague needs, from what my colleague in another city needs, etc. Right? So the more personalized and focused it is, the better it is. I think we are focusing also on efficacy and impact and measuring that better. That's not something that a lot of companies in India necessarily do or invest in, but that's something that we are definitely focused on and trying to measure our impact, whether that's pre or post, to see if we've made a difference. Third, I think there's a lot of data, and so leveraging even wearables data into what your personalized sort of well-being plan should look like from a mental health perspective is also something that I see people sort of, moving towards. Overall, I think it's a really positive industry. There is a lot of awareness already and a lot of uptake. I think, again, we'd like to leverage a lot of our digital platforms. We have a great, excellent counseling team. And I think what we'd like to do is definitely enhance how many people we can reach through digital platforms. That's definitely one area of investment, because not everybody may be in need for a full therapy session or have the ability to do that. They may just have a little bit of time available. And so that's what we'd want to do. And of course, yes, partnering with all kinds of organizations, no matter what life stage they're in. I think because there are a lot of new companies with young employee counts, and they also need to sort of work on well-being in a concerted way. And then, I think we're also trying to see how we can enhance the number of qualified counselors who are available. And so we have some trainings, and we're making investments in counselor education as well. So those are some of the ways in which we're hoping to contribute to growth in mental health in India.